So it's now been 4 months since I had COVID, and certainly my perspective on it has changed somewhat. I've been getting a lot fitter, doing things such as fasting, which I'd had some experience of before, and Wim Hof method, which I had not had experience of before, including cold exposure, which was an absolute revelation to me. Though I have to say that as a child who loved the heat, and an adolescent and young man who loved the heat, from about the age of 37, after I spent some time in humid tropics, I began a shift towards liking the cold somewhat more. And then this seemed to sort of culminate with doing Wim Hof method. I saw Wim Hof in a podcast with Michaela and Jordan Peterson in December, and spent a little over 2 months thinking about cold showers until I finally summed up the courage and got into one. Came out of it more euphoric and higher than I've ever experienced on drugs or drink. And as I say, that was a real revelation. However, in terms of COVID, I think what that has brought to the forefront is how much COVID stimulated my immune system. And indeed, I think that after getting ill, and particularly with the kind of infections, viruses, that actually feeling euphoric because my immune system has been stimulated was the norm. I certainly noticed it coming out of COVID. And then I did a 4-day fast. Came out of that feeling exactly the same way, feeling euphoric, and my immune system had been stimulated. Finished the fast on a Monday, and then on the Tuesday, tried my first cold shower. Been doing the Wim Hof breathing as well, which is very connected into the cold. And since then, I've started using homemade ice baths because I have a bath, and it's easy enough to make ice in the fridge freezer. And this has been an absolute revelation, and a very positive one. It's left me feeling much more euphoric, and something very, very positive working through me. And that's been very positive. The other big change is that I've started chewing my food properly. Now, this was popular in the 19th century. It was known as Fletcherism, after Horace Fletcher. However, he was thoroughly debunked for reasons I don't understand. Anyway, I've got into it, partly through listening to Michael Muse of Mewing, saying, chew your food properly. And as a result, you see, I was someone who always wolfed down my meals. So instead of a meal now taking me 10 minutes to eat, the meal now takes me an hour to eat. And it's really changed my relationship to food, to what I eat, to how I eat. It was this chewing that provoked the fasting. And so, yes, I feel that getting COVID, inevitably the fact that my father died just before I got COVID, will have a lot to do with it. Because I think that when one's father dies can be very transformational, especially for men or boys, because it's a same-sex pair, and I'm sure it's the same for women and their mothers. Not that I have any experience of my mother dying, thank goodness. So yes, it's been a very moving few months, and I feel like the things that I'm learning are going to keep me going for the rest of my life, keep me busy. and hopefully do the thing I most want, which is to ward off aging.